Hi, I'm Dan Franklin, and we're going to play Scattegories. So let's play. I've got a board here for you. Some of you, if you're doing this live with me right now, then I've given you some vocabulary cards with your words on it. And I've also given you a sheet of paper where you can write these words or even just place the cards at the top. For those of you watching at home, you could just take a blank sheet of paper and draw yourself a grid. And I will also try to put one of the grids I have online as well, if possible. And write these words across the top. So slope, intersection, function, and y-intercept. Those are our words. And then I'm going to pick some letters. So let's start with A, T, and let's do R. Okay, I just randomly pulled those out of my head. You could, there's some random letter generators and all kinds of things you can find online that you can use. So let's play. So what you need to do is I'm going to give you about 5 minutes. For those of you watching the video, I'm just going to pause the video. Take your time and fill in a word that starts with the letter A that's connected to slope. Okay? So some of these may be challenging, some of these may not be. So let's see how many you can get filled in. So go ahead, pause the video, and let's see what you got. Okay, so let's see what you got. Here's what I got. So for slope, A, put avalanche. T, too much slope, I guess. R, run, rise over run, okay. Intersection, two lines intersect to make an angle. T intersection, that's kind of cheating, but radius is where you could say that line segment from the center to the outer part of the circle is the radius. Functions are used in algorithms. They can be time-bound, they can be rational. Y-intercept, always be, kind of reaching there, myself. Touches the y-axis, and reasonable. Hopefully maybe you've come up with some better ones, and I'd be curious to see what you put. But I want you to notice a couple things. Your students are going to do the same thing. There's going to be places where they don't know what the word is, especially if you're using random letters. So that's where you have to decide, am I going to require a single word? Am I going to allow phrases? How much am I going to allow? The more you allow them to write, especially the higher level things we're getting into, you may need them to write more because you need them to be able to explain the connection they're making. Now, the connection doesn't always have to be a mathematical one, as long as it is getting across the correct concept. So what are some variations that we can do with this? One of them is, I, as the teacher, can decide what the words are. So when I used R for slope, I got run. I might have gotten rise out of people. When I use y-intercept, I could use the letter B, and we could have them say B. So I can pick the letters ahead of time and say, hey, here's some letters that might fit some words that go with these, okay? So you could have them do this. You can see now I actually went and filled all this in. Well, you can have students where you're doing it on a timer because you don't have all day to do this. Use it as a warm-up. You throw the card out or the paper out with the words and the letters on it. You give them 2 minutes, so they fill in as many as they can, and then maybe you have them turn and share with a neighbor. Take 2 minutes. Okay, time's up. Turn to your neighbor. Share what you got. Explain what you got. You could have them turn it in. You could have them then, okay, now we're going to conduct class and work with these words, and then at the end, have them go back and fill in anything that's missing, or pick one that you're especially important for you. Let's say slope. I want you to explain to me in an exit ticket what these words mean. Okay, so there's lots of different ways to do this. Another variation on this game is we could take the words across the top And then we could have other words and not just letters across the side. So I could put positive. I could put rise. I could put other math terms that maybe fit in each of these categories and then have them explain how are they connected. So there's all kinds of ways to do that. Now, if I'm awarding points and I'm really wanting to make a game out of it, we could have them do that and then have it turn to their partner. And this works because you don't have time to necessarily count everybody's thing and look at everybody's thing. Because if you're doing this really quick, you can have your partners count and then who won at the table, then you go and you give that winner the punch for the day. Okay? Because part of this is a study strategy. It's them writing for themselves to learn this. Now, at the beginning, you do need to be directly involved and very careful because you don't want them to get the wrong conception of what slope is. You want them to have the right idea. But as you go, you're pretty certain they've got a good idea. Now it's just them practicing using the words and thinking of new ways to describe the words. So that's Scattegories. And really the only material you need is the words, letters, or other words. And depending on how complex these things are, you need to use one of those other options. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment or send me an email at the links below. Thank you.